is any game bigger than this one? Where, of course, when these two giants collide, anything can happen. I am talking, of course, at the weekend. I am talking about Manchester United going in against Liverpool, 4 o'clock on Sunday. From Klopp to Slot, what have we seen? What have you seen through Liverpool eyes? Has this been as seamless a transition as I think it's been?
It's been pretty good, hasn't it? I think he's spoken really well, said the right things. He's quite warm and charismatic. I think he's gone down well with the fans and the media alike so far. I think the philosophy of his football is to go after teams and win games and control games. I don't think he's pragmatic or defensive in any way, which is always endearing to a set of supporters. There is a little bit of difference in terms of the more patient build-up, a lot more passing round about, a lot more passing to keep possession rather than to progress at times, which is a little tweak. But overall, I think he's probably been sensible in not changing too much. The majority of the team played in the same positions as it did last time. He's had a little tweak in the middle with Gravenberch coming into the holding role, which we've not seen so much before, which has worked so far. This is the first test. United will be a test. It doesn't matter what you think of United and where they're at. Going to Old Trafford at any time is a tough game.
Yeah. Klopp's football was described as heavy metal. What Slots?
Could you not give me that earlier?
See, put right in the spot, Simon.
I think it's still really positive. It's just a bit more refined. It's just a bit more patient at times.
Someone at the weekend said slow jazz.
No, it's a bit more than that. Simon, help me out. You're the music man. What's between?
I was trying to think.
What's between slow jazz and heavy rock?
I was going to say fast jazz, but I couldn't. I didn't even think that was the right. I don't know. I don't know.
It's got you both, hasn't it?
It's too early to say. I mean, if you've played against Ipswich and Brentford, you're not going to get anything about really what they're going to do. The only time you'll see it is when they go toe to toe with the opposition. That's
from what you've seen beforehand, Simon, Mr. Owner, is he your kind of guy?
Apart from the fact that I've said, as I said previously, the image they've got of him in his tracksuit makes him look like Richard Fairbrass from Right Said Fred. I'm comfortable with the fact that the guy's got the chops to do the job. We made the observation. I think me and Danny went very early on the first press conference with Ten Hag, where he didn't elude the authority. By the way, I think Ten Hag is much more cohesive this season than I've heard him be previously.
And robust.
That's my point. I really did like the observations he made the other day about people getting on with it. And people having to get on with the reality of how they're going to be played and when they're going to be played and what they're going to be given. And I like to hear that. I think that's leadership and management that perhaps that group of players require. It's too early. I would assume that Liverpool really spent a lot of time thinking carefully about what they were doing and the reasons why they were doing it. In the same way that I think they must be thinking carefully about the reasons why they're not buying players. Because I don't think there's a PRS issue and I don't think there's a shortage of cash issue. So there must be a shortage of desire and requirement issue, which the manager must also be comfortable with. Because the last thing this manager would want, and someone will be saying it to him, is what happened to David Moyes. When David Moyes walks into Manchester United, doesn't have enough people around him with any intellectual capital to be able to make things happen for him. Has Ed Woodward at the beginning of his career, who, by the way, didn't get any better at the end, but notwithstanding at the first transfer window, was dreadful for Moyes. So, he brought in two players at the very end that he didn't particularly know or want, and he got Marion Fellaini. Now, one would assume...
But David also wanted to do it all himself, Simon.
Well, I'm not sure
that's... On the training ground. I wonder if Slot does it all himself.
I'm
not sure.
I'm not sure that's... I spoke to David about that recently, and I'm not sure that's right, but certainly what he did need was some help on acquisitions to refresh that squad, and he didn't get it. Slot's coming in on the back of a disappointing fall-off from Liverpool at the back end of the season. Many people would suggest that maybe there was a need for some replenishments, which they don't have it. So I'm assuming that Liverpool are comfortable with what they've got, the manager's comfortable with what he's got, but I don't think we can really say that we know what Slot's Liverpool's going to be when, with due respect, you've played against Ipswich and Brentford. And by the way, Brentford are no slouches. They're always a difficult game. But I'll tell you what I think Liverpool are going to be when they start playing top six sides that are going to give them something to think about more than Brentford and Ipswich did.
Well, we'll see on Sunday, won't we? Jim, it's pop music. That's what he gives us. Average. And I think they're getting better than that, are they not? Who wins it on Sunday?
I'll make Liverpool favourites with the firepower they've got compared to United, but it doesn't mean it's a given. United showed they've beaten Liverpool recently, so
where is it?
At Old Trafford.
Old Trafford.
It'll be a good game, but I fancy Liverpool. I think they've got better firepower.
Yeah.
United.
Who knows with Manchester United? Who knows? I mean, they weren't bad against Brighton. The
No, they
narrative,
weren't.
they weren't great against Fulham, but I did think it was an entertaining game. So I think it's too early in the season to forecast one. If you're going to pick it, I'd go with a home side, just out of probability of being a home side.
They need Danny Murphy, don't they? Liverpool. You always used to score in that game at Old Trafford.
It was a favourite fixture of mine, but they certainly don't need me with the firepower they've got at the moment.
Don't say that.
No, they don't.
Always
Diaz
need
is
you.
on fire. Salah's hot.
Yeah.
You've got Jota, Nunes fighting for that striker berth.
Yeah.
You got goals in the team.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I'd be amazed if they didn't score at Old Trafford. Put it that way.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.